All right, so the partnership with Moeco and DuPont started out last year with my colleague Irina, who's here today. It was mostly to help us in some logistics efforts within the supply chain function for DuPont Water Solutions business. This is the business unit inside of DuPont as a whole. So we wanted to use the sensor or the trackers to see how we could improve certain operational processes within the logistics space, which I will touch on soon. But then it expanded into marketing and specifically customer experience, and to see how we could use this same capability to improve communications with our customers during the transit phase of their buying journey. The Moeco solution was to give us essentially visibility, near real-time visibility on our cargo when it's in our warehouses, and as soon as it leaves our warehouses, all the way down to the end user location, or if we have distributors in the middle of the value chain, then that would be tracked as well. And we were also going to see how we could expand these capabilities and benefits across the organization, because as I mentioned earlier, Water Solution is just one small business unit within the organizations. We could see how we could share our learnings within the whole company and kind of be an ambassador of the solution to the entire organization. So these are the different buckets of activities we're hoping to get. I'll just pull all of that on the screen now. So first of all, I am the customer experience marketing specialist. So a lot of what I was focused on during this partnership was on the marketing side of things, to see how we could use this sensor tracker to improve certain gaps we had identified in the function. So first and foremost was to fix a communication blind spot. So we get an order within the organization. We have our internal processes that gets the order prepared, and then it gets shipped. So at this stage, we hand over the cargo to our logistic partners. But then we kind of lose all ownership and visibility to an extent of what happens during transit, because we only get certain milestone updates, like, oh, it has left this facility, it has arrived at this facility, it has arrived at the end user, and there are gaps in between. And within those gaps, we tend to have delays and issues, mostly due to the logistic partners. But we, at the other hand, had to take responsibility of the communication with our customers. So the customers would not get on the phone and call the logistic partner, or they would not get on the phone screaming at DHL or whoever to know where their order is and why it's not meeting the communicated estimated delivery schedule. So with this capability of us seeing where the cargo was at all times, we will be equipping our CSRs and any customer-facing employee with the real life timely information on where our cargo is at all stages, and they would be able to set up notification or ping for when a certain order has not moved past where it's supposed to be over a time frame, and they can kind of proactively step in and begin the conversation with the shipper before it becomes a problem for our customers. So we wanted to see how we could give them more power to be more problem solving and more proactive, as opposed to waiting for the customers to already get frustrated and then trying to see how we can fix the problem. So we're essentially trying to fix a blind spot there, take some ownership back of the transit process. Then asset tracking as well, it's been good for us to know where our products are at all times. We do tend to do a lot of our business through middlemen, distributors, wholesalers, all that. So we don't necessarily know where the products end up in terms of the end user location. So with this, we would be able to get data as well that can help us know where exactly our products are being used, which is good information for us to have. And also asset-life monitoring. If we're able to track and know when this cargo left the warehouse, our products have certain lifespans or shelf lives, if you will. So we know when the replacement cycle is coming up, and then our marketing and commercial teams can use this data to be more proactive in terms of engaging either with the distributor or the end user to sell, maybe to upsell innovation, and also to just get them to make sure that the products they're using are working optimally. So all this information we were going to put into a data bank, and then use predictive analysis to be able to see how we can use this to get value for the business. Moving to logistics now, there are many benefits we saw having with the Moeco tracker, but some of which I will talk about now is product loss avoidance. So we tend to ship our products either from warehouse to warehouse, that's DuPont to DuPont, or from our warehouse to the customer, distributor, whoever. And sometimes these products are not shipped in the right storage conditions. And this is very critical for some of our products. So with this DuPont sensor, as Alexa mentioned, they're able to track humidity, temperature, shock and vibration. So this way we can actually monitor and see if our partners are actually storing these products in the right conditions as they transit them to their final destinations. And then obviously we can use this to recover costs from carriers. So if the reason why the products or the cargo got damaged was due to their poor lack of storage conditions, or because we provide this information to them, then we can be able to recover some of the cost, as it will be a warranty case, and they would have to recoup the cost of that as well. So in summary, some of the return on investment drivers we're looking at: number one, first and foremost, we're trying to become a more customer-centric organization. In today's day and age, we all know how important it is to always listen to the customer and infuse the voice of the customer in all that we do. So improving our customer satisfaction rating was at the forefront of one of my the benefits I wanted to make sure we could get. So any way we could improve customer loyalty and reduce churn, that was of high importance to us. Revenue and realization. So that ties back to the asset life monitoring. If we're able to follow up on the replacement cycles based on when the assets left our warehouses and all that, we can actually realize some of the revenue faster. And as I said, also introduce conversations around like innovation and how we can be doing better in the market. Cost savings from preventing loss, I already explained this, and then pushing low and slow moving inventory. So sometimes, and this is on the bigger scale, if we're going to put these sensors on all the products we're manufacturing, which is a big dream, we would know which inventories have been sitting in the warehouse longer than others. There are different ways of tracking this, obviously internally, but this would have just been an extra way of monitoring this, and we would be able to push this out the door faster instead of them just sitting in the warehouse at the back shelf. And obviously, we were going to help our CSRs, who are our customer support representative, spend more of their time on more high value activities as opposed to trying to track updates on orders and getting on the phone when it has become a problem. The main thing here is to step in before it becomes an issue for our customers and not after. So what we did with Moeco is we did a pilot last year in 2 phases. So the phase 1 was to track shipments internally, just the CSRs. Obviously, we notified the customers because it was going to go to a customer warehouse, but they didn't have any action to do except returning the trackers to us because we didn't use the disposable trackers for this phase of the tracking. So we had to train the CSRs on how to use the Moeco tracking platform, how to set reminders and updates, and just how to navigate the tracking portal and ask questions or escalate issues should there be any. We had to carefully select the cargoes we wanted to track. We had certain criteria, maybe the type of product, the geography it's going to. We wanted it to be as spread out as possible from different warehouses in Europe, South Africa, Asia, spreading it out as much as possible, and also tracking all the storage conditions during transit. Yeah, that's another thing. We checked places with very low temperatures and high temperatures, so in the Middle East and also some colder regions, to see how the assets were being tracked and in the conditions were being tracked in. So after the first phase of the survey, again, we didn't give visibilities to the customer, just the CSRs internally. So we got feedback from them on things we could be doing better, improvements. And the great thing about Moeco here is that they were able to implement these improvements on the go. So as we were telling them about what we needed to change, they were able to fix it, and we were improving the process as we went along. And then phase 2, the same thing, selected more orders to track, but in this phase, we're exploring a track it yourself option where we were going to give certain customers access to the dashboard as well. So obviously we can't give every customer this access. So we've discussed with internally how we would select the customers to give this access to. So maybe high value customers, or we're trying to reward loyalty. So it can be some kind of loyalty reward program, or very sensitive cargo that needs to get to a certain place, very time sensitive, or maybe the particular product we're shipping has very high sensitivity in terms of like the storage conditions. So it's going to be on a case by case basis. So we selected a few customers to give access to the tracking portal as well. And at the end of the day, we also did a survey. So all this information and feedback we got from the two phases, both internally and externally, now helped inform us on the kinds of orders how widely we would want to implement this in the future, and the kinds of orders we would be tracking. Have I left anything out? Sorry, let me just. Okay, so I don't know if I need to talk about the device itself, but obviously, as you can see, it was very easy to use. We didn't have any issues in terms of like CSRs or the users being able to use the platform in terms of tracking, and also from the supply chain side, they were able to attach this to the products without any issues, and we were able to get in this case, we did reverse logistics, so we were able to get them packaged. We prepared the return orders, so no hassle or cost to our customers, and they were simply picked up from their location and returned back to us, because again, we did not use the disposable tracker for this one. But as you can see on the slide, they do have the disposable ones, and if and when we're going to expand the scope of this project, that would be the focus, to use the disposable one to cut out the costs and the hassle of reverse logistics. So it was a very good learning experience. We already have interest from other businesses within DuPont that want to use it more internally in terms of like monitoring their assets within the warehouse as it goes from one stage to the other. So we're already seeing synergies in the use of the tracker, and hopefully it's something we're going to continue to do to be more self-sufficient and take more ownership of all the entire buying journey. So not just the order processing, but also the transit phase of our customers' buying journeys. I think that's where I'm going to stop for now. Okay, introducing new technologies is always tricky. So first and foremost, you have to make sure you get high-level buy-in from all the leaders that this is going to impact their work process in any way, shape, or form. So from logistics, just the fact that someone has to have the responsibility of attaching the trackers physically to the product. Trainings as well. We needed to make sure that everyone that needed to know about the platform and the products had the right trainings at the right time, and also communication. You cannot underestimate the power of communication. You have to make sure the customers know, because we had a situation where we almost put a tracker on a customer who was going to send it to an end user who saw that as a security breach. So like communication to all the right stakeholders is very key. And then also it needs to be clear. Define your use cases early. We had like clear use cases that we wanted to test. So we did have that structure, but as the project evolved, that kind of like changed, and we saw like it had more benefits in certain more other areas than we had anticipated, and not necessarily just supply chain. It had more benefits to the kind of information we were going to get out of it, and the value that could be for commercial and marketing, as opposed to just supply chain, knowing where it is at all times. We also learned, okay, and then something that also, I guess this is a learning we took back to Moeco, is I wanted to use it to be able to see if we could get like a very clear, accurate location on the map of where it was at this time. So we had an address, we knew where it was going. So we gave it to our marketing team that were on the field trying to scout for new projects, and told them to figure out where that was. We knew the address, but they didn't. So we wanted to see the level of accuracy he had. And from that, we learned that we needed to kind of like reduce the radius of the accuracy a bit more to be able to give us an actual address, because it was giving us a very big range in an area we couldn't really tell where it was. So yeah, to recap, like communication, get stakeholder buy-in, and as you test new technologies, just create the right use cases and be able to make sure they are flexible enough to change as you go, because new variables will be included as you move along. I'll split it now. So for our internal customers, so that's the CSRs who were on the phone every day, and their account managers getting screaming customers, they were excited. They were ecstatic to have this level of information and real-time like accuracy to be able to convey that information to their customers. But then from the external customer, we kind of got like a mix, because a big chunk of our customers are distributors, right? And these products go to the end users. So some of them didn't necessarily want us knowing where it was going to, because they felt we were probably trying to like cut them out of like the line or whatever. So managing that expectation well, telling them we're just using this for like informational purposes. We're not trying to cut them out of the value chain. That has never been our strategy, and we don't intend to change that anytime soon. And we had to like include some wordings in some contracts just to make sure they were at ease, the fact knowing that we weren't trying to like cut them out of the value chain. So yeah, it was a mix of both. Internally ecstatic, the information was exactly what they needed to empower them to be able to proactively react to certain situations, and externally as well. Some customers, especially the end users, not the distributors, now were happy to be able to just log into a page and see where their cargo was in transit. Gave them this sense of like, I don't know, calm, and just knowing, when you know something, you just at ease. So that information was good as well. I will speak first. It was both. We did B2B in sense, we even did warehouse to warehouse. So we manufacture like huge amounts of reverse osmosis membrane that we send to the Middle East. So we tracked the transshipments of our own cargo to our own warehouse. And also we had a mix of the selection. So we had a mixture of distributors, end users, resellers in the mix across different geographies to get a good sense and feel of all the different reactions across the value chain. Okay, specifically for this project, the next phase we're at now is building use cases internally, like we're extending our use cases now. So we're trying to like single out the application, because obviously we have hundreds of thousands of shipments going out every day. We can't track everything. That won't be a good use of our resources or the time of our CSRs. So we are now like building like specific buckets of orders we want to have trackers on at all times. So either if it's sensitive products to rushed orders to trying to do the end user location tracking. So obviously that came with a whole bunch of like privacy things we needed to go through with our legal team and everything, which we've been able to figure out the right ways to go about it in the right execution path. So we are just like embracing technology, embracing all the value it can give to us as an organization to be more efficient in our processes. Because DuPont is a company that's been around for a long time. We're very set in our ways, and a lot of the information or the way we are collecting information is very outdated. So we're trying to really update all of this, and embracing technology in the sense of the kind of data we can get from the Moeco sensor is one way to go about it. And once we have all this data, we're trying to see how we can imply like predictive analytics to it as well. So we don't want to just rely on the information that's given to us. We want to be able to predict some of the things to expect and know how to counteract them. And this will help us make better decisions in how we choose our logistic partners, the routes we intend to use for our shipments. And just to touch on the question again, I don't know if that was directed to me or Alexa, but for the households for this pilot, we did not send out the products we were tracking were not household products. These are industrial applications. So they were going to warehouses, industrial plants across the globe, not actual households. So just saying that there. But yes, back to the point. Yeah, we're embracing technology, and the future and partnership with Moeco is going to be something we're going to keep hearing about, because already, as I said, other businesses are getting interested. And we're going to try and see how we can get enough data in the next coming years to be able to make this more of like a smart, predictive bucket that we can use to just make business decisions. Yeah.